Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently I just went to see Lone Survivor, which is a true account of operation that occurred in Afghanistan. It was a small company, about 5 men. Were supposed to go into a village and they were supposed to there was another company behind them, another company behind that, and they were supposed to take out some Taliban leaders. That's really easy for me to say. The mission was compromised, sadly, and this really is an intense movie. If you think that you're going to be bored by it, think again, because this is some of the best acting I've seen in a good long while. It's not meant for those who are weak-stomached, because there are a lot of moments here that just, you would think, how on earth can they go through this, the Marines, or the frogmen? How do they do this? It's just absolute insanity. But it makes me very glad that we have men and women who do this every single solitary day, risking their lives and their limbs just so we can have our freedom. I have a lot of respect for veterans, and even my father is a veteran. He trained for Korea, but he never had to go, because by the time that they required him, Korean War was over, and they actually sent him a letter, and they gave him an honorable discharge saying, well, you did very well in your training, but we don't need you for service in Korea. So I said, Dad, your bacon was saved. And of course my Uncle Hugh, he served at Normandy and also in Iwo Jima. He was actually on board an LST, so I've got his journals, and I've been on board an LST, and honestly I don't know how he went from how he didn't go absolutely stir crazy, or that there wasn't a mutiny aboard it, because they're just like sardines on the inside. It's just unbelievable. And I have a slight claustrophobia, so for me it was just a little bit uncomfortable, but it was a good experience. I'm glad that I had a chance to actually see something like that in reality and understand what's going on in these soldiers' lives. And I really enjoyed the film. I thought that the film was absolutely sensational. Non-stop action. Of course, a lot of it is pain on the soldiers' behalf, and you just have, well, actually I think 3/4 of the time I was cringing and just grasping my leg or my arm, or just wincing and gasping at how much pain and anguish and excruciating agony that these soldiers actually underwent, and it was just unreal, and it's actually on borders on surreal. There's a scene in the movie that I'm not going to go into because it's a huge plot point, and it actually reminds me of a lot of my Arabic friends, or I should probably say Arabian friends, because they make a distinguishing they make a declaration of that kind of a distinguishing feature, because there's a funny scene about Arabian horses, and one of the guys says Arabic horses, and of course Marcus says Arabian horses, and yeah, I should call my friends Arabian rather than Arabic, and I maybe I'm being a little bit silly. I'm not being judgmental in any way, shape, or form, but I've always said I have Arabic friends, and maybe I should say I have Arabian friends, which is more accurate. It's more politically correct as well. But I really thought that was funny. I'm not going to say what that refers to, but it's there's a conversation that takes place out on the field when they're trying to make their way very stealthily as possibly as they can down into the village. Of course, that doesn't go according to their plan, but it's really quite a harrowing film, and it just makes you all the more glad that you have such brave men and women fighting for us. And a lot of them don't come back alive, and it makes you think of those families who lose their loved ones, and then they have to go through the rest of their lives doing what they can. They get a stipend, but it's really not enough, because their grief is going to stick around with them forever, just like it does with my father and my Uncle Hugh. Because side story here is my Uncle Hugh, he was married 5 times. And in his last marriage, he took a bunch of quinines and alcohol. And the death warrant actually said it was suicide, but knowing what my father told me about my Uncle Hugh, I don't believe it was suicide. I know he had PTSD. A lot of soldiers do when they return, and they didn't talk about that too much in the film. It was just the operation itself and what went wrong, basically, and then the unexpected happening. I won't go into that because, like I said, spoiler alerts abound if I do divulge, and I won't. So my lips are sealed about that. Anyway, I don't think that my uncle committed suicide. He just isn't the type of person who would do such a thing. He was too strong. He was too stubborn. He was mostly German, like all my family members, and we're fighters. Suffice it to say, rating this film, right. 2 thumbs way up, of course. 5 stars, hands down. I think this is going to receive rewards out the wazoo. It kind of played like an advertisement for the Marines. Maybe, but it wasn't sugar-coated. They did not sugarcoat anything. It was something that was true to life and poignant, heart-wrenching, and just made you darn proud to be American. I thought it gave me a great sense of patriotism. At least it made me feel that way. It made me feel good. It made me feel safe. It made me feel relieved that I don't have to go and do that. If I were called, I would probably say, give me a tech job. Don't put me on the ground, because more than likely they're going to come after me first, because I'm not exactly the most athletic person. I mean, I can run fast, and I can outmaneuver, because when I was in middle and high school, I beat everybody else when I was playing dodgeball and crabball. Those were my 2 dominant sports, other than kickball and volleyball. And basically that's where I owned everybody else, and everybody picked me on their team because they knew that I could kick the ball the furthest and the fastest, and I could run the swiftest. And I was still like in in grade school, they called me Speedy Gonzalez, and yeah, that was my nickname. So yeah, I ran circles around people. I could still run circles around people. I may not be so fast, but it's still kind of interesting that I could still speak quickly and make my point clear if people understand the words coming out of my mouth. But anyway, let's see. What else did I want to say about this film? Yeah, right. I would want to be in tech operations. I would want to operate drones. If I were to be called into the service, I would say, let me operate your drones, please. Give me your stratagems, and I will give you one better. Don't put me out on the field, because if you do, I'll die. I don't know how to shoot a gun. Of course, they would teach me how to shoot a gun, but I would be. Well, I think I would become a really good shot. I think I would become very accurate because I have good vision. Um, Something I could be taught, but I wouldn't really want to, because I just don't. I guess for me, working in the technical ops would be far easier, because I wouldn't have to think about blood on my hands all the time. And I was thinking about that in the movie. I thought, it must be so difficult and challenging, but you don't see any remorse on their faces, is because they have to survive. That's the only and I was actually thinking about that when I was watching High School of the Dead. It's the same kind of scenario. They have to fight back. It's the only thing that they can do. And of course, I haven't watched the whole series yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next, because so far I'm liking it. This is basically all I have to say for now, and hopefully on the 7th, well, after the 7th, I will be able to see Monuments Men. So until that next time comes, live long and prosper, and ciao tutti.